people to watch us. Sometimes I can't hear what he says and he can't walk. So we deal with it every day.
And this is your husband.
Yes.
How do you make a choice to even make it worse? Hear me very well. I'm not saying your arrangement with your husband is worse. He is quadriplegic,
Yes.
which means he cannot walk and has limited use of his arms. And there you are with your deafness, and you have to live with it. And someone else can say, how can these two people with disabilities really make it happen? How do you guys make it happen?
Well, I think it goes back to the beginning. JJ married me with my hearing loss, and when his accident happened,
So you were married to him before his accident happened?
Yes.
Take me through that.
Right, so when he had his driving accident, that was 2001, I made a decision that I was going to stick it out, and I think 11 years later, we're still around.
And the challenges that come with it. I mean,
Well, if we are in bed and he's calling me, I can't hear him unless he whistles very loud, and then I wake up with a big fright because I hear the very high-pitched sound. So that is where Linda comes into. She's an angel. She copes with both our disabilities. She's got endless patience. I think they say God sends you angels in the form of people. Linda's one of them, definitely.
So, in other words, you are not only just dealing with your disability of not hearing, but also dealing with the disability of a partner that needs to be accommodated.
Yes.
What does it say to you about life in terms of how we deal with our own selves and our own circumstances, and also the circumstances of others?
I think when one door closes, another opens, definitely. Because JJ's accidents opened doors for me to do my accessible tours. Definitely, a strong grounding for my tours is the fact that I've got a hearing loss, severe hearing loss, and JJ's got his disability, so I understand all forms of disabilities. Often people say accessible tours, but they're not thinking of inclusive tours. Inclusive tours cases for everybody. It doesn't matter if you may be on crutches, or if you've got a hearing loss, or if you're visually impaired. It cases for everybody. So it's not just for wheelchairs, it's a broad understanding of all disabilities.
And tell me,
and inclusion for all disabilities.
Tell me, now you're here as a tribune, and the world, or South Africa if they want to call it, and South Africa is the world, recognizes you as a woman with a disability that has conquered all odds. And remember, when we judged you, we did not even know that you had a husband with a disability. How does it make you feel, knowing that?
I think it's going to sink in tonight.
It's going to sink in tonight?
Yes.
But right now, what does it say to you?
It has sunk in, but it's going to sink in tonight.
And what are you looking for tonight? Tonight?
You know, to me, somehow, I'm now being given a tribute for a woman with a disability, but I think I'm so used to having a disability, not just mine, JJ's as well. It's normal for me. It's actually not, like you said yesterday or the day before, being a disability. It's disability. I think my circumstances were perfectly subscribed to that, because disability has now opened doors for me to do my accessible tours. I've met people from all over the world. I've met such dynamic people through it. At the same time, with JJ, we've been able to extend into his arts as well, with his mouth paintings. He's a very talented mouth painter. And through that, we've been able to do community work. So one thing has led to a lot of things.
Yeah, I looked at JJ's artwork, and I also could see that it has parallels with what you do. There's something about the both of you that always marries nature with balance. Is this why you went into tours for people with disabilities, to allow them to find a balance between their circumstance and the natural side of things?
The natural side of things. Well, talking about nature, I have a perfect example on my last tour. Nico was a C2, C3, so he's quite a high level quadriplegic. Nico, his name was Nico. He was 17, he dived into a pile of leaves about 2 years ago and broke his neck, a freak accident. His parents and him came for a tour in May this year. When he arrived, he had a trachea. He was on a ventilator till last year. We had a trachea, and he had to have suction. So which means there's a tube that has to go down to try and elevate all the phlegm. He had suction once when he was here, and when he got home they took it out. So that's a perfect example how nature heals.
So you think that people with disabilities should really open their horizons to the natural elements?
Definitely.
So that in one way or the other, the natural elements also assist them with their healing in the
Yes.
balance that they've always been with the cosmos.
Yes, absolutely.
Janae Bezenhout. Is it Bezenhout or
Bezuidenhout.
Bezuidenhout? Janae, thank you very much. And we
Pleasure.
welcome you. I know that the province is your hometown,
Yes.
but then we're in Durban.
Welcome
Thank you
to
very
Durban.
much. Welcome to Durban. I'll tell you what to do. Let's go to the camera there and just say, welcome to Durban.
Welcome to Durban.
Thank you very much to you, Janae. It's my
Okay.
honor talking to you.
Okay.
You got it. Thank you very much.
The Tribunes.
Faith Phala, albinism and an educator par excellence. Faith Phala is an advocate. She attended the University of the North, where she completed her BProc and subsequently her LLB. This former prosecutor spends time on outreach programs, educating the public on matters such as domestic violence, customary marriage, maintenance, child abuse, and communicating the notion of restorative justice, where community and traditional leaders can involve themselves in smaller legal matters to resolve them faster and ease the legal backlog facing our South African courts. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as you allow Faith to come forward and address us.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you very much. I feel humbled but greatly honored today. I'd like to thank my dad, my mom, who nurtured me to be what I am today. Through the ups and downs of life, they guided me, but mostly they believed in my abilities and ensured that I lived a normal and unsheltered life. This honed and sharpened my outlook on life and greatly developed my self-esteem. I like to say thanks to my loving husband, Carl, and my two kids, Pearl and Desmond. They know that Mommy is always away from home, traversing the whole of Mpumalanga, demystifying the law to the rural people. All of these efforts are for a good cause. Today, my work is recognized. I'd like to thank the organizers of this event. I can't mention them by name, but all of them. Thank you very much.
But Faith, let's just take it to the beginning.
Yeah.
I remember when the final list
Yes.
of women with disabilities that a very capable panelist of judges,
Yes.
a very capable panelist of panel of judges, not panelist,
Yeah.
where I come from, panelist, talking to an advocate and going panelist.
Okay.
Now, when the panel of judges comes to me and they say, these are the finalists,
Yeah.
and I sit the whole night reading through, and something amazed me. And this is where you really come to appreciate the depth of a judgment that went into selecting you ladies for tributes.
Okay.
Here is a lady with albinism,
Yes.
and she is deep in an outreach program
Yes.
that in many ways takes traditional leaders
Yeah.
and their communities to start talking about cases so that we do not have a backlog in our, what do you call this
No.
thing, in our courts.
Yeah.
And remember and underline a woman with albinism and traditional leaders, and the community project is actually what the panel of judges says. That's what makes her who she is. How did you break it down in a world where you would expect traditionalists not to be very welcoming to a lady with albinism?
You know, with me, what I can say is I'm here. I'm here, and albinism is here. So I only realize maybe if someone mentions it after some time that, Faith has got albinism. With me, I regard myself just like everybody else. Yeah. So my attitude is you either you accept me or you don't, but I don't care. Yeah.
So do you think that attitude is one that cuts like a knife through traditional stereotypes and has made you the person you are?
Not, I don't know really, but I think people are enlightened these days. Yeah, I think they are enlightened, and yeah, I should think.
Don't you think you are taking a bit of credit away from yourself? Don't you think you enlighten them? Don't you think it's your attitude of going in there without putting your albinism first that can, as I say, most people will say people with albinism have much more of a problem accessing their justice and rights in traditional societies. And when you take traditionalists, traditional leaders,
Yeah.
and assemble them around community justice,
Yeah.
and they can look beyond your albinism. And I think you are doing yourself a bit of a disservice by thinking, no, well, people are enlightened. Who
No,
do
I
you-
think maybe it's a question of you must first accept yourself before you can say people must accept you. Yeah. So whenever I go to whoever I have to meet, it's Faith who's there, not Faith with albinism. You get it?
I'm already feeling a lot of faith,
Yes.
I must say.
So whenever I go, whoever I meet, that person meets Faith, not Faith with albinism. That will come after. Maybe whenever that person has to explain to someone, Faith who? Oh, Faith, that one with albinism. Yeah.
Tell us about yourself at home.
I don't know where to start, you see. Yeah.
Start wherever you feel you are going to give it justice to.
Okay,
do so.
I'm a wife
Yes,
to Carl.
yes,
I'm a mother of 2 kids. The eldest is 24. She'll be
Yes.
24, I think, on the 3rd of September.
Yeah.
Her name is Pearl. She's an honors graduate in corporate communications.
yes.
And my son is doing matric. Yeah, he's 18.
Ah,
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just the 3 of us now at home because the eldest daughter is in Joburg. She's still establishing herself. Yeah.
and your children, how have they taken the type of a person that you are? Very strong-willed in a world where you are breaking down stereotypes. Do you feel your children sometimes feel you? I mean, it could be.
I'm a very strict parent, I must say.
Mommy fights too much.
Yeah. Actually, they say I'm too aggressive.
I guess it's in the way you look at life and the way you
Yeah, they
confront
say,
it.
Mommy, I know it's you who started this and that with so and so. I said, no. I'm a no-nonsense person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my attitude.
Yeah.
I take no nonsense from anyone.
And tell me, Faith, in terms of your career path, you seem
Yes.
to have leaned more on a path that takes you towards justice. Why
I
would you
started
think-
with justice.
You started with justice.
Yes, I
and
started
you're
with
still
justice. It all started with my elder brother. He went to university, the first one to go to university at home, and then he studied law. And then he used to come back home, tell me about law, this and that, law, this and that. So I got to love it. Yeah, I got to love law.
Also, you fell in love with law.
Yes.
Not because you thought law could be a way of redressing something about you or something about your society.
Not really. It's only I discovered when I was in the legal field that something can be done. Yeah, to address a lot of maybe social issues, legal issues that people have. Yeah, so I fell in love with it.
You fell in love with
I
it.
fell in love with it.
And tell me, what justice do you think society still owes people with disabilities?
Justice that it's owed to people.
Is it moral justice? Is it social justice?
Do they owe anyone?
Justice who?
I said, are people with disabilities owed?
by society.
I think if we are all to say society has stereotypes that we still have to change. But I guess stereotypes are not only limited to people with disabilities.
Yeah.
The balance of life is that people are either going to be ignorant or are going to have their own set of ideas about anything. So would you be answering my question as society does not necessarily owe?
Because once you say to people with disabilities,
Yeah.
society owes them something, they'll go around feeling, yes, society owes us. What?
But other people with disabilities could say, because of your social stereotypes, you owe us opportunities that you have denied us.
Maybe in that sense. Yeah, maybe in that sense.
And what do you
But
think?
if people feel they are owed, then
Sometimes they can get entitled.
Exactly.
But still the reality
Yeah.
in our world, and not only in South Africa, is the world in many ways owes people with disabilities something. And I think I'm going to go back to what I've said.
Yeah.
With discriminatory attitudes, we have been robbed of some opportunities that could have been given to another child without any barriers.
true. That is very true. That is very true. But I don't think maybe we should phrase it like they are owed.
Owed, yeah.
But it should be that society has to change attitudes, and attitudes have to change through education.
You say so?
Yes.
And then I'm going to ask you about the flip side.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play it like I've always wanted to be a lawyer.
Yes.
I like it when you guys are sitting there and throwing those arguments at one another.
Yeah.
Do you feel people with disabilities owe the world anything? Now, this is the flip side of the coin.
Do they owe?
The world anything?
Not to the world. Maybe they owe it to themselves. Yeah, not to the world. They owe it to themselves to go out there. Yeah, just like everybody else. Go out there. People should see you. If there are any opportunity, that's why at one function for disabled children, they were graduating. I don't know what course it was. I can't remember. I told them that now you've graduated, you've got certificates and everything. Don't ever think that because you are disabled, someone will come knocking at your door and say, yes, so and so, I've heard you've qualified, now here's a job for you. No, it doesn't work that way in the real world. You see?
You've been here for 2 days now.
Yeah,
And you have also met other women with disabilities with
Yeah.
their own amazing stories.
Yeah.
Is this the type of attitude that you think could easily lead to a prison break for people with disabilities?
if really they could. I think it all starts, as I say, with you must love yourself, accept yourself. This is me, this is not going to change.
Yeah.
I must make a life for myself.
Yeah.
Yes,
Faith Pal,
yes.
it has been an honor to talk to you.
Okay.
And I must say, at one point in time, I felt we were, in the courtroom throwing arguments at each other.
Okay.
But I'm realizing that you are just what you are.
Yes.
Faith Pala, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, Bongama.
Okay, Bonga
Thank
mina
you.
Putumuzi.
Sure.
All right.
The Tribunes. Natasha Musa Ahmed, our Community Development Ambassador, Multiple Sclerosis. Natasha is a University of KwaZulu-Natal Bachelor of Commerce graduate and works for the eThekwini Municipality Metropolis Tracing Call Center as an agent. She has also achieved an advanced diploma in business studies and assists in raising funds for charity organizations and has even volunteered in a soup kitchen. As part of her activism and representing issues of people with disabilities in both the workplace and social networks, Natasha is a member of the Muslim Students Association of KwaZulu-Natal. It gives me great pleasure to call her forward to say what she has to say as a tribune.
Good day to one and all. My name is Natasha Musa Ahmed, the face that is missing in the book. And I just want to say I appreciate everything. It is an honor and privilege to be able to be here today and to have been here the last 2 days and experience everything which I have experienced. I was once there I am now here, a disabled who is proud and will fight, because God only gives us what we can manage. So I am going to fulfill and I am going to accomplish all that is in my will to actually go through. So thank you very much. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
Tell me, Natasha,
Yes, sir.
in your community, how have people received you? I'll tell you why. You are today chosen as a tribune, which means the whole of South Africa has received you as a symbol of inspiration. In your own community, how do you think people have received you and all the light that you are shining through?
Okay. You can see it from different perspectives.
Yep.
When it comes down to the fact of disability perspective, yes, they accepted me, they taught me a lot, which I know right now. And the fact that they accepted me into the workplace, for example, in the outdoors. But it still depends when it comes down to people who know nothing about disability. It depends on the disabled. Because I was once there and now I'm here. So when it comes down to it, yes, I used to love going out. And now I never changed anything.
And tell me, you're talking about this as though it happened later in your development. When were you attacked by multiple sclerosis, and when did you start getting affected by the signs to this level now?
Okay, in 2003.
And how old were you?
I was approximately 21.
Yep.
Around there.
Uh-huh.
And that's exactly when I was diagnosed. And I found weaknesses in my legs and so forth. So I went further to find out exactly what's happening to me. Yes, it was a long journey before they can pinpoint exactly what the problem was. But I followed through on that journey. I followed through, and when it came down to it, I found out, and
you just had to take it as it comes, and also confront it as it comes. But tell me, words are easier said than actions are towards confronting reality. How did you feel when this was breaking you down? I know you have risen way beyond any other expectation, but a disease or anything that afflicts us will always break us down. What were your feelings as you could feel this weakness and it was progressing? Yeah.
Okay, I will say something. At that time, when I was diagnosed, I was confused. Yes, I wrote a poem about myself.
Yep.
And if I can mention,
you didn't bring that poem.
I know it by heart. If I'm the one who wrote it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Can I? And I quote: "How can I live a nightmare I couldn't begin to understand? For me to even stand up is more than I can be. To watch people play, run, skip, and jump. How I would wish I could do so, but I don't even try. Instead, I sit like a tree stump. To study for me, I can barely see. I can't see another doctor because 3 is enough for me. My father takes no notice. He thinks it's all in my head. My sister tries to compete, but all my mother says, she's the one living the nightmare. She really can't begin to understand. That's the way I saw it, uncle. That's the way I saw a disability at that point. Because I was confused.
So Natasha, when you received that call, you said, yes, I made it.
Yes.
In other words, you believed that you were one of the best before even anybody phoned you to say you had been chosen.
I did. Because, okay, I was asked to write a few paragraphs about myself.
Yes, I know.
And when it came down to It was done in no time because I lived it, I experienced it. And I did mention the fact about the bee stings.
Yep.
Now, that's me. I am encouraging, I take the risk. I take it. And the fact is, if it helps, that's good. If
Yeah.
it does not, it's just a show.
And tell me, the poetry, I mean, you read out a poem to the camera. Did that poetic streak come with you reflecting as you were, I hate putting it this way,
Okay,
but
no,
degenerating as in physically because of multiple sclerosis?
Yes, it's absolutely done because when it came down to it, okay, something so simple as physical education,
Yep.
PE, I could not manage. However, a person, my teacher, would come to me and say, I need a letter.
Yep.
You need a letter because I can't you just watch me and see the fact that I can't manage? I can't manage it. And I'm going to university. How do I make those flights of stairs at Howard College?
Also, you went to Howard College?
Yes,
I also
did.
went to Howard College.
Yes,
but this
I
was
did.
a long time ago, and I was still working. And I know that the infrastructure there is very unforgiving.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Because if the escalator is not working,
Yeah.
there's a long flight of
Especially up MTB.
Yes.
Natasha,
Mm-hmm.
it's my honor to be with you today. I draw so much inspiration from you, and your story is one that should be told over and over again. Natasha Ahmed Musa. Natasha Musa Ahmed,
Correct.
ladies and gentlemen.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Peace. Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I appreciate
The Tribunes. Bulelwa Mbolelwa, a natural leader, blind. Bulelwa works for the KZN Department of Health and is also a leading figure in Disabled People South Africa. She has assisted young people with disabilities to access various learnership programs towards developing their skills and knowledge, and has also been vocal at lobbying for permanent employment of these people with disabilities after completing their learnerships. She has also led from the front in establishing sustainable food security programs for various organizations representing disadvantaged women with disabilities within the eThekwini municipalities. We all need to stand right now to give her our listening ear as she talks to us about who she is and what makes her tick.
Stand here in this evening for the 2012 Tribune. This 2012 Tribune would not have taken place except that the organizer, which is Valhalla Arts, has ensured that it realized and recognized abantu abakhubazekile. Igama lami kakhosikazi Malibongwe. I would like to thank some few people. Abanye among us, abanye they have left. I mean today the challenge because I've got my former employees and my present employees. I would like them to stand. I've got my sister in the midst all the way from Gauteng province. Nabo bonke ihlobo zami esikhona ngicela ukuthi nje baphakame babonakale all ihlobo zami Nanda ingane zami ngikhulisile zonke ziphakame today. Ingane zami ezikhubazekile, I would like them to stand. Omama engibaholile abakhubazekile mabafakaze. Ngisukuma nokukhuluke ukuyibongela ukuthi sisi I've never thanked you, but today ngicela ukukubonga sisi wami all the way from Gauteng, usisiluleka Mboleko. I never call your name, but today I would like to call it. Ngiyabonga Dlamini Zizi, ngiyabonga Mlambo, ngiyabonga Mlambo, ngiyabonga Sandlulube ukuthi ube khona for mina. Ngingakhohle ukubonga udirector wami uMama uZanele Hlatshwayo. Kodwa into message engifuna ukuyishiya ukuthi singabantu abakhubazekile, wherever we are we need to shine. And singabantu abakhubazekile akufanele sivume ukuthi akukho esingakwenza. And singabantu abakhubazekile, we should not relax and do nothing for ourselves. We should ensure that each and every day we dream, and we dream great. I do believe, even if I'm blind, that I always dream. I am this mention today because there are so many people who have contributed in my life. Ziningi itina ebekiwe in my life. Wo omunye weza nokunye, nomunye weza nokunye. Ngimbonge no premier se KZN ubaba uKhabazela uGcwabi ngokuthi all the time uyasilalela, uma sikhuluma naye uyasizwa. Siyabonga. Uma ukhubazekile, wherever you are, uyiqhenye, you are a sister, you are a mother, you are everything, and there's nothing impossible. Konke kuyenzeka, it only needs a passion. Ngibonge MEC wami bekhona. I'm very honored today. Ubaba uDlomo ebefikile ongayekho phakathi kwethu, umama uSibhidla Saphetha. Ngizibonile today ukuthi I'm a really leader, ukuthi everybody came here wazongisupporta. So singabantu abakhubazekile sithi this little light of ours, no matter how little it is, let us let it shine. It must not be shine. We should leave a legacy. We should leave a legacy yokuthi who we are. Akufanele kuthiwa la ekhaya kwazalwa umntwana okhubazekile, so then what? Ngiyabonga kakhulu, ngibonga umndeni wakaXaba ongisupportile, ngibonge kubo bonke abantu abangisupportile, ngiyabonga.
Born blind.
No, I was not.
And you lost your sight
Yes.
gradually.
Gradually.
Which means you still have images of sight that
Yes.
flash in your mind.
If you talk about red, I know, and I talk black, okay. I do visualize those colors. If you talk about cow, I know.
Yep. And how old were you when this started happening?
No, it started when I was very young. Maybe it was something that was slowly but surely, gradually. It was not an overnight thing. It took me some years. Like I used to go to attend different surgeries, and then maybe after 18 months I lose sight again, until like, since I said my mother was a domestic worker and my father passed away in 1989. And I said, no, ma, let us leave it things now. I prefer to be blind.
Wait a minute. There was a time when you would have surgery and see.
Yeah, there were
But you went to your mother and said, Mama, let's just let it be.
Yeah, because it was something for maybe 6 to 12 months that I will be at least able to see. And that's to see for me, it was a matter of maybe not 100%, of course, but I could walk alone. I could see Pick n Pay okay, but slowly this cataract is coming back. And as I told, my mother was now left alone. She was a domestic worker working for different mistresses. Said, no, ma, now I think there's a time we need to accept that I'm no longer going for any surgery. And I wish that my mother, like, she was having that fear that I will be sitting on the street begging money, as she used to realize that my sight is gradually fading away, and said, if I'm dead, what will happen? It means that you will be on the street, or they will leave you there. I said, no, ma, let us try schooling and see what will happen. And unfortunately, she also, after 7 years, my father died. She also passed away. And then while I was completing my matric by then, and then, yeah.
So, Bulelwa, you've always made bold choices about your life. I mean, the choice to walk it alone
Yes.
after your parents died.
Yes.
And also before then, the choice to say, I will see in the dark.
Yes, I told it. Now we need, there's no fear. Because when, like, I was losing my sight, I used in my sight. I didn't want to hurt my mother to feel how do I feel, you know, because I know they tried everything. Sangoma, Zabatandazi, you everything.
Yes,
so I
ma'am.
didn't want to express my feelings to her, you
Yeah.
know. But I used to say, you know, in my heart, deep inside my heart, it is better when it is at night, not during the day when people are expecting me to see during the day. Because I assume that at night no one sees this. So therefore I'm accommodated, you know. So
in night would offer you irreasonable accommodation.
Yes, but the day, there's those things say, look there, you know, go and take that thing, and you find that I'll be doing like this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm really losing my sight. But
Yeah.
I don't want to show
Yeah.
to her that I'm really, or to show to my family that I'm really losing my sight, because it's going, it will be something that it will be discussed, that now what's next?
Yes.
Oh, we have done this, and they fail, and then they will feel, they will blame themselves. And but at some point in time, I remember my last operation
Yes.
was 1991.
Yeah.
Yeah, at St. John's Hospital. And I said, it was the sight I was back. I could see at least there and there. I could walk alone. But when that sight was fading away around 1992 to 1993, I said, let me tell this mom of mine. Said, Ma, you have tried. And I strongly believe that maybe this is the will of God. Why, if after the operation and I continue lose the sight of mine, maybe they say, you've tried everything. I say, while my father was here, he tried. We tried. But I think this is the will of God.
So are you saying
something that cannot be changed, Mama, we should accept now.
Are you saying, Bulelwa, that all of us ought to know when we have tried and certain things are just not going to change? Just like all of us ought to know when we have not tried enough, that we still have to try even harder.
Yes, yeah, I think all of us, when we tried and things, we have to open another door, because that's what I said, will open the door for education. And then maybe surprisingly enough, as I mentioned, I said at home we are 5, and I happen to be last born. Among the 4 which is in front of me, that were born before me, none of them would go to matric.
Why? Because of?